For the benefit of those who are just joining us for the first time, this is Tabitha Health and Wellness. It's an online platform where women come together to share information, to share knowledge, to impact ourselves with information and knowledge of things that can help us to stay healthy, and then also to encourage us one another as well as a big happy community. Because we share information here, we do not diagnose or assess any diseases. So if you have any health concern or health challenge, I would like to implore you to please see your medical practitioner or your trusted physician to help you review your situation. Thank you. Last week, I started I started a topic which is on iodine, and then I've been, you know, um, I've been carrying this for a while in my mind to share the benefit of iodine. Honestly, I think since last year or so, but somehow, I just keep forgetting. But after our anniversary, I just thought that it's important to actually look into the issue of iodine again. Sometimes you can neglect it, but right now I think it's important. It's about time that we started looking into this particular aspect of our health, majorly, especially for us as women. So last week I started the class and I said quite a number of things about iodine. And so tonight I will be bringing out certain points as well. I am hoping to finish it today, but I don't think I'm going to finish it today. But in case I don't finish, that means I have to extend it to next week, Saturday. So, right, let's start off. Every single cell, I want you to take this point and put it in our mind. So, not that I'm going to be doing a lecture, but I'll be giving you points that you can hold on to so that you will be able to know the importance of this iodine in our body system. Every single cells in your body needs iodine. Our body is made up of different trillions of cells. So every part of you have cells. The cells, they excrete, they breathe, they do all kinds of things. They are living things. They live. And then so they do all kinds of function. And when the cells in your body are malnourished, there can be the development of diseases. So you and I need to take care of our health, We need to pay attention. It's not that we are overdoing things by paying attention to our health, because every cells in our body system needs to be kept alive. And iodine is one of the trace mineral that can help us to keep ourselves active and well. Iodine is not only needed for thyroid. I mentioned it last week. It's not only needed for thyroid. When you hear iodine, the first thing that comes to mind is the thyroid function, the thyroid, all of that. So when you see a woman with goiter, you say that, you say this person is deficient of iodine, but that's not the only use of iodine. Now, I need to also point to that a lot of higher percentage of women come down with thyroid issues than men. Most times when you see thyroid issue, you see it in women much more than men. Okay? And so it's something that we need to pay attention to. Now, listen to this. Your breast tissue consumes about 5 milligram of iodine, okay, every single day. Now, iodine is the thyroid consumes estimated amount of about 6 milligram daily, while your breast consumes about 5 milligram daily on a daily basis. That's a breast tissue. So you can see why it can really be a problem when a woman is not consuming enough amount of iodine. And I will get to something tonight. I'll get somewhere tonight. When you are not consuming enough of iodine, you find out that there will be a problem. So the breast tissues that will be dependent on iodine is not getting enough iodine. So there will be a problem. Okay. So the next one is that the ovaries, the uterus, all of these things too, they require some amount of the consumed amount of iodine. Research has even shown that Japanese women have very low incidence of breast cancer. Why? Because they consume, it shows that they consume about 21% more, 21% more of iodine than women in US. Okay, so, and I also said last week that there was a research that shows that the soil, a lot of people in Australia, women in Australia, they are deficient of iodine because the soil is depleted of iodine. Okay, I'll get somewhere. So they have this, the Japanese women have very low, and that is really, very, really, really incredible. This is something that we all need to look into. If these women, they have lower risk of breast cancer because they consume a lot of they consume quite a number of iodine, much more than women in US. And that's why sometimes I mentioned, when you move from one country to another, it's not only the movement that you should pay attention to. Look, there are certain things we need to also pay attention to. There are certain things that are prevalent in one country than another. Somebody spoke with me today, and he said to me that whenever he travels to United Kingdom, that he notices that he always find it very difficult to to use the convenience very easily. So that means he's constipated. But when he comes back to Nigeria, that he doesn't have that experience. And that sent a signal to me. Just today, he spoke to me today. And I was just saying in my mind, what could be? He said he just feels that the kind of food that he eats there contributes actually to the problem, to that particular issue. And that's something that we should pay attention to. Now, there are some things that are deficient in one part of the world, in one part of the country, and another. So we need to pay attention where we are living as well, to understand the environmental factor and be able to find help. And I was really happy that the person was able to identify that aspect, that there's also what they say, something many times you have to use laxative for him to be able to go to the restroom very, very freely. And whenever he comes back to Nigeria, he doesn't have that issue. Well, I won't say it's about change of environment alone. He said as soon as he gets here and start eating here, he said that he feels that the food there is it's something there's something that he eats that doesn't just go well with his system. So it's something that we all need to look into as well as we migrate from one place to another. Also, the same research also shows that men who consume higher percentage of iodine, they also have 29% lower risk of getting prostate cancer. I remember my mentor mentioned something to me some years back. It says that taking iodine regularly will prevent men from even developing tumors and then lumps, prevent lumps. It said it in passing. I didn't put it in my head very well that time. It's really now that I'm beginning to think, recently that I'm beginning to think, oh, come to think of it, that was what he was saying that time. So it's making a lot of sense to me now that sometimes I do some research, I do a lot of readings, and I thought, oh, wow, this is very interesting. So, and that's why I'm bringing it to everybody's notice. So your ovaries, your brain, the stomach lining consume a whole lot of iodine on a daily basis, on a regular basis. And you see, there's something that is unique about this trace minerals, okay? You see, the food that have these trace minerals, they are not common at all. They are not common. And I'm going to get to that aspect of this thing. So that's real, and we must put it in our body system on a regular basis. So next one is that one of the things that gives these minerals this power is the fact that it is highly anti-estrogenic. When you hear anti-estrogenic, you can begin to imagine for old women, every one of us, when there's estrogen prevalence, when estrogen dominates, there's an estrogen dominance in a woman. Studies have shown that it increases the chances of developing cancer of the breast, of the ovary, of the uterus as well. You understand that? Now, he said iodine also helps in also reducing the development of fibrocystic, okay, diseases. I mentioned this last time. Somebody was when I finished this class last week, about 3 or 4 women sent me private messages that were very encouraging. They said if they knew what they know now, certain things that happened to them not happen. One even mentioned how she uses iodine to rub on her breasts, that whenever she has some certain issues, she usually rub it on her breast and the thing disappears. You see, it shows that what we're saying is true. Another said to me that now she could see the correlation, the link between the thyroid issues that she had and then the use of iodine and the likes of that. So you see, and it is important for us as women to understand this particular aspect of this iodine. It's critical. It's something that we must pay attention to. Iodine helps the thyroid. It helps the thyroid. And do you know something about thyroid? Thyroid for women and even for everyone is a whole lot when it comes to our health. This thyroid that is by this next side that feels like that butterfly thing, that simple uh, tiny organ there is a powerful controller of human health, because it's a lot about your overall well-being. If there's a thyroid deficiency, there's going to be a problem, because there's a connection between this organ and the liver. And when there's a breakdown of communication between that and the liver, it's a whole lot of problems going on in the system. Some people's problem might just be because their thyroid is not functioning properly, and it will just be triggering a lot of things. In fact, many times when we see women who have certain swollen part in the neck, it's a call for action. You need to do something about it very fast. Sometimes when they do a lot of talk, and they do a lot of during diagnosis, during interactive sessions with women with health issues, they ask deep questions, and this deep question can lead to another one. When the woman begins to tell you about certain things that have happened, like one of our senior physicians said this to me. Said, when you are talking with your client, you need to be watching everything about the client. Okay, sometimes you see a client, you're talking to a client, and you see that there's a swollen part in the neck, or the person is always itching the eyes, or the person is always scratching the ear or something. That can be a pointer to certain things that are happening to that person. Okay, and you can begin to derive or deduce some information that can trigger other things that will lead you to the problem, to the root cause of that particular problem. So it is important for us to know that thyroid issues is not something that we can neglect. So whenever you're doing your routine check, don't forget to do thyroid function test as well, especially for us as women. Thyroid function test is very, very common. They check every aspect of you. In fact, you know something? There was a particular case that somebody shared with us on the platform, and the lady presented with goiter already, and the thyroid function test of that woman was complete, was good. T3 was within range, T4 was within range, TSH within range, everything was within range. So it means that there's something. So you're not going to be saying because it's within range, you're not going to treat the person. You've already seen a physical sign, okay, that is showing that this person is having certain issues. Then you now deal with the root cause of that issue. It could be from the liver, it could be a detoxification problem, it could be something. So it just shows that there's certain problems that happened with people even without show. So if you do your thyroid function test and you're okay, you're fine. It's also be okay. But if there are other signs and symptoms that you're feeling, it's also good to face and deal with those other aspects as well. Iodine improves the immune system. Okay, when you have sufficient amount of iodine, your immune system is guaranteed. High level of immune system is guaranteed. Iodine reduces inflammation. It helps to reduce inflammation in the body system. Pregnant women need a good amount of iodine in their body system. It's because they need to consume a lot of iodine, because it prevents miscarriages. It also prevents uh, some kind of defect, birth defect as well, especially the brain defect of our babies, of our children. Though People say something like, oh, be careful with the amount of iodine that you're taking. It can be toxic, it can be this and all of that. Let me tell you something. Let me shock you something. Do you equally know that iodine trace mineral is the only trace minerals that can safely be taken even in extremely large amount? I can tell you that for a fact. Yes. See, there's use I have used over iodine to treat malaria. Iodine can treat malaria. Do you know? Iodine can treat malaria successfully. I've used iodine to treat malaria successfully in my family for many years. I've used that for many years. Okay, so it's now that I will share with you. It's now that the brand of that iodine become very expensive, that you have to use that alternative to also do to treatment. But it treats malaria effectively. That you go back to the hospital and then you will not see malaria parasite again. I tell you this one for a fact, the truth of it, okay, because I've tried it before. My mentor has used it several times to help to treat malaria effectively. So taking more iodine can also counter the effect of allergies. This is a good news. Allergens such as fluoride, bromide, and all the likes of those allergen products, they are, I mean, people tell you that don't take enough iodine. They always come with different kind of bad news. Don't take enough of the good ones. They are too much for propaganda of good things, but they elaborate. They tell you that taking. Meanwhile, the toothpaste that we use on a daily basis has fluoride in it, and this fluoride, they help to combat iodine effect in your body system very, very effectively. Nobody is talking about it. Nobody is banishing those toothpaste company, but every good thing is what they go after. They go after when they see you promoting iodine, they say, oh, be careful because of toxin, because of that. And although many of us will fall for it. So please, let us be conscious of this fact that iodine, allergen has a very, very strong effect. But iodine is saying that, things is saying that iodine or have a counter effect. It had helped to remove, to reduce the effect of all of this in your body system. Taking more iodine, more of it can help to counter the effect of halogen in your body system. Iodine can also be used to do a detox. I have done that very well. If you want to do a detox with iodine, you can also use vitamin C. Okay, you can add the iodine drops in water. Take plenty of water. Add vitamin C, or take vitamin C maybe like about about is it 500 milligram or so, of 1,000 milligram or so. You can take that. You can take with vitamin magnesium. You can take with selenium. You can take with complete B complex as well. It helps to do a fantastic detox in your body system without any iota of doubt. You can't be allergic to trace minerals. For people who are who have hyperthyroidism, okay, I will. It is always said that you have to be careful with iodine, of course. But there's particular iodine supplement that is good for that particular process, for that particular issue. Okay, so I will just briefly talk about that if you are interested in that. So you can take that particular one to balance out the issue of hyperthyroidism, and it will be very effective without any issue with you at all. So if you take high amount of iodine, it also helps to deal with respiratory viruses. Oh, the time of COVID, iodine supplement was one thing that we used during the COVID period, and it was fantastically effective. I mentioned during the COVID period, and I didn't have anybody who had COVID around me, though, but there were certain symptoms around that were pointing out that it is possible that this thing might be looking like this. Whatever, treat accordingly. So iodine supplements was one of the things that was used. Black seed oil was one of the things that was used. Of course, garlic was one of the things, and a whole lot of things conjoined together to make sure that we put the person in good state of health. So another thing that is very interesting tonight that I want to share with you, good news, is that iodine can comfortably bind with every metals in your body system to drag them out, bind with them, drag them out, and dump them. Isn't that awesome? things like aluminium, things like mercury, and the like. That's why I said iodine can comfortably be used to do a detoxification process in your body system without any harm. Okay, so that's a good news for us. Okay, so let me also share this with you. Iodine, food sources of iodine. People will ask, what are the food sources of? One of the greatest place that you can find good amount of it is seaweed. Okay, we have different kind of seaweed. When you ask me what is seaweed, you can go and just Google and say what is seaweed. You see different kind of seaweed. Things in the family of kelp, things in the family of spirulina, um, um, spirulina, I think nori, and then the likes of kombu. What's it called now? Is it kombucha? No kombucha, right? Some of those things they have it. They have it in shrimps, but the shrimps is something that I don't recommend for people to be eating on a regular basis because a lot of people can be very highly allergic to that. But if you're allergic to seafood, doesn't mean that you're allergic to iodine. So those seafood they have high amount of iodine, truthfully. But at the same time, don't forget that this seafood as well, they are scavengers. They eat up the algae and the dead things in the sea, and they kind of put a lot of pressure on us, like toxins that can be very, very damaging to our health. Now, you have tuna, you have eggs, you have prawns that have content. So all the things I mentioned, you can see that they look like Oyinbo food. So onions is also one good thing that also have that can also get iodine from. But let me tell you something about things, something things. Some of these things we may not know which of the crops that do not have sufficient because it's actually gotten is a mineral is gotten from the soil most right. So when we plant, that's why they said in Australia a lot of women are deficient because the soil is depleted of iodine. Now this is where the things are gotten from, and that's why you see many of these food that have the sources they actually get their sources from the seaweed, the seaweed and the likes of that. Having said that, what I would advise, if you ask me, what I would advise is this: if you can afford it, get an iodine supplementation. Okay, if you can get an iodine supplementation, there's a recommendation of one iodine that I have used a lot, that I've used for many time, many period of time. It became very expensive. I won't lie to you. It was initially 3,000 and like that. But irrespective of the amount, whatever the amount they sell it, you only need few drops and it is very effective, especially for us women. In fact, I forgot about it many times. I was paying attention to the cost or something, but right now, with all that we are seeing around, it's something that we have to revisit. Iodine supplementation, it's not what you can compromise or put on a second list or say, I'll come back to it. It's not. It's something that we need to pay attention to. So, what am I saying in essence? What I'm saying is this that if you want to supplement if you want iodine, I would advise supplementation of iodine. And then because we may not be able to get enough, why I'm talking about the depletion is that you don't know our soil, our ground, our soil have been compromised in so many ways. And but this particular supplement that I'm talking about, it's 99.9% bio bio uh, degradable. It is 100% because your body can make use of them 99.9%. So you only have 0.0% that need to go. It's an amazing iodine supplementation. But you cannot get it anywhere. The only place you can source for them is Avila. I don't have a partnership with them, please. That is my mentor's store, and that is the only way. Is the only one that brings it, except maybe the other people who also bring that particular. But that is one way that I can really get it from. One person that also brings it in, she doesn't bring it in that I know of anymore. Last time I asked her, she said she doesn't bring it in anymore. There's a particular program that you have to do before you can have access to that company that you can have. So I think he has dealership with them. But it is extremely an amazing iodine supplementation. So if you get there anytime, You just go there. You don't have to mention money. Just tell them you want to buy um, iodine supplement and all of that. They will let you know. And so when women are treating breast issues, one thing that is very important, if you are a cancer survivor, if you are treating cancer, one thing that we will ask you to include in your regimen is iodine. Please take it. So for what you have had tonight, should give and last week should give you an idea that you need to include it in your regimen. And if you know wherever you can get iodine, there's a Luger iodine as well. You can get it on Amazon. Okay, I think it has a combination of potassium or something. But this one that I'm talking about is a combination. In fact, hyperthyroidism people can also use this particular iodine that I'm talking about. It's part of the regimen and the treatment plan that we put together for that particular category. So that's it about iodine supplementation that I want to share with you tonight. So let's next week I will look at a few things that I can share about iodine as well. There's so many things that you can talk about iodine. We'll look at it next week again. We'll look at certain areas of iodine with the liver, with other areas of our health that we can take advantage of. I hope that what I've shared tonight have been able to impact you and you can take advantage of it. Let us not neglect the iodine supplementation, iodine, and taking a lot of iodine in our system. You see, let me share something with you. Do you know that onions is also very good for fibroid? Okay. Now, when I got to know that it helps to break, there was a time we did a particular teaching that said onions help to break, it helps to break congestion. It helps to break kind of thing, especially for prostate. So you can see the link between onions and iodine and fibroid and the likes like that, like that. So onions is also a very powerful food source of what of iodine. And don't forget, iodine also have the tendency for people who have low sugar, that have a low sugar. You need to take it in moderation, like I said before. If you have a regular, but it's not something to be scared about. That let this not go and crash. It's not true. That's not how things. That is not how nature crashes things. No, it's when you take it overboard that it can affect you in any way. And you cannot be allergic to trace minerals. That is the truth. You can't be allergic to trace minerals. So if you, honey, onions too was one of the things we did. We need onions for our breast care challenge. So onions too is also very beneficial for the breast, beneficial for prostate, and the likes like that. So it's an amazing thing. God has really given us a lot of things. Every time I take a study, I don't have any choice than to say thank you to our God, because a lot of things He has made provision for and helping us to navigate through challenges of life and all of that. Like I always say, one of the things we don't have power over the environmental factors. But the truth is, God has also put other things for us that will be able to navigate through some of these challenges. And we are grateful to God. A lot of things happening, the atmosphere, the air that we breathe in, there's so many things and all of that. But do your part. God knows how to take care of that. Don't say because everything that we are doing, we are just doing everything. No, do you know other things that we cannot face? You do your part and focus on your God. And then you will see that God will come through for you. Don't be careless or no. We don't say that. No, we can't afford to be careless. Don't be careless or no. And say, I just eat anything. I bless it. I sanctify it. And I eat. No, you can't be careless about your health. You can't be careless about your life. You can't be careless about what gives to you. Everything that God, can you be careless with your children? You see some parents are careless about their children. And you see the consequences of that. You can't be careless about every gift that God gives to you. You can't be careless about your health. So you must take advantage and be thankful. And one of the ways to show gratitude to God is taking care of what He has given to you. When you give your children access to certain things and they misuse them, you are not a happy person. You will not be happy. But when they manage it very well, you will always want to say, well done. You have done very well. Remember the parable of the talent. When God gave one five, gave one two, gave one one. The one who had five reproduced it and got extra five. The one who had two reproduced it and got extra two. The one who had one, he said, Master is a wicked man. He wants to reap where he never sown. Imagine. So whatever God has given to you, what God wants you to what? To say, to what? To appreciate Him. That is the way you can show gratitude to God, by taking care of all that He has given to you. We are caretakers of our children. We are caretakers of our bodies. Our body is what He gives to us. So we carry us for one level of grace to another, for one assignment to another. And you must be able to take care of that body, pamper it, and ensure that it's doing well. Now that our eyes are being opened, that iodine has a lot of great effect on our lives, on our health, on our breast tissue, then it is important for us to take advantage of it and then make use of it very well. I pray that the Lord will impact and will also minister grace to our heart with what I have shared tonight. Thank you for listening. I wish you all the best. I look forward to seeing you again next week, hoping that we also have more things to talk about, Harida, if not, we'll move to another topic entirely. Thank you and God bless you.